Good afternoon. It's Friday, and that means it's time for our lunch and learn. Now, today we're going to be talking about protein and how much protein do we need. Now, I learned something because I thought as an adult woman I should have about 70 to 75 grams of protein per day. But this new research shows that you need 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So figure it out, for yourself. How much do you weigh? And then we're going to talk about what you need and why you need it. I'm going to show you what I do. All right. And so a lot of people think that when they're doing protein powders that they're getting enough protein, and most protein powders have between 20 and 25 grams of protein in them. All right. So you need to have the protein so that you keep your muscle strength, you keep your muscle tone. And this report is going to show that you actually keep more of your body's ability to maintain your health if you have adequate protein. So you have to have enough protein to maintain your muscles, to preserve your muscles. Experts are saying that the recommended dietary allowance for protein does not reflect the amount needed for optimum muscle health. Now, this is important in order to stay healthy and to maintain healthy weight loss. Now, I have been looking at some different things today on Facebook, and there are these sponsored ads about these weight loss. One of them has the banner is a Fox News, but I'm just telling you, that is not Fox News. It's some kind of a hijack of their graphic. There's another one that shows Elon Musk talking about how he cured diabetes and all that kind of thing. I'm telling you, those are not true. And so be really, really careful when you're looking for health advice on Facebook, because they're doing whatever they can do to sell you stuff, right? So you don't want to do that. So when we're looking at the protein, and there's a lot of protein powders on Facebook too, you don't want to look at that. You want to get something from a trusted professional so that you know that you're getting what you need. And so you need enough protein to thrive, not just survive. So the bare minimum, all right, the recommended daily allowance of protein is very, very underrepresented for health, okay? It is to prevent deficiency, the RDA is to prevent deficiency, not maintain optimal levels for health. So there's a big difference between sufficiency, right, and optimum. So I think you can go 3 days without water, right? Not that I'm asking you to do that. I don't want you to do that. But if I had a small cup of water that I sipped on every day for the 3 days, I would not necessarily be deficient. I wouldn't die, but I certainly would not have enough to be optimum. And what we want to be optimum, because when our body is functioning at the optimum level, then we have health, we have energy, we have all those kind of things that we need. Now, this information came from a registered dietitian named Angel Planels. She says that the dietary guidelines suggest adults eat 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So that's 0.8 grams for every 2.2 pounds that you weigh. So what we're saying now is that is a recommendation so that you're not deficient, but it's very, very short, like half of what you need to function optimally. All right. Protein requirements in the United States have not been reassessed since 2005, and some studies suggest that protein recommendations should exceed the RDA for certain adults, including seniors, those with type 2 diabetics, okay, those with chronic conditions, cardiovascular disease, cancer, kidney failure, all those kind of things. So if you're having enough protein, you may not be having these chronic diseases, and that's what the research shows. Now, Kristen Smith is a registered dietitian nutritionalist, and she is the spokesperson for the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And that's her comment that if we only have the minimum daily adult requirement, then we're not going to have enough to stave off these diseases. The research shows that consuming protein beyond the RDA can optimize health outcomes, particularly for older adults, by helping prevent muscle loss, supporting muscle maintenance and weight management, and enhancing the feeling of fullness. And so why do people overeat? Maybe because they're not having enough protein, and so they're hungry all the time. There are other things. That's a very simplistic thing, but the research does show that the more protein you eat, the less hungry you are. So adequate protein intake is crucial for maintaining and building muscle and supporting physical strength and metabolic health. Over time, consistent protein consumption improves the body composition by promoting fat loss while preserving lean muscle mass. Skeletal muscle mass is also a key marker of metabolic health. Increasing evidence shows that the greater the muscle mass and strength are associated with better health, a longer lifespan, and a reduced disease risk. So, if you know seniors, I know seniors. I don't really consider myself a senior, even though my birth date would tell you otherwise, but I don't consider myself a senior. I feel good. I don't feel really any different than I felt when I was in my 30s. I still eat quite a bit of protein. I never feel as good as I feel when I eat protein, so I'm just going to throw that out there. Do I eat 1 gram per pound of body weight? Probably not, but that's a goal, and I can do that because I want to live long and live strong. And so the research is showing that if you consume enough protein, that you're going to have better health outcomes. Now, we want you to always choose good, clean protein, right? And that's kind of hard to get unless you really make it a mindset and you work at the things that you need to work at so that you're able to do what you need to do. Muscles, strong muscles, reduce the risk of chronic diseases such as type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular conditions, says Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, a family physician and muscle expert and a best-selling author. Now, I know a lot of seniors, like my mom, my grandma, all that kind of stuff, they don't eat very much. And so are they getting adequate protein intake? Probably not. Does that exacerbate the problems with aging? Probably so. So if you're dealing with an elderly person, if you're dealing, even if you're with yourself, if you're having issues with chronic disease, you might want to look at your protein intake and find out where you are. Remember, the recommended by the professionals, not the RDA, but by the professionals, they're recommending that you do 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. For those losing weight, protein intake is essential to prevent unintentional muscle loss. Ideally, weight loss should come from stored fat because fat is a major contributor to metabolic disease. However, muscle mass, especially skeletal muscles, is often lost during weight loss. In fact, 20 to 40% of total body weight loss can come from muscle, which can negatively affect both long and short-term health. So I just want to go over a little bit of information for you so you know why this is important. So there's all these shots out there that are, the doctors are giving you to lose weight, and you do lose a lot of weight. But the studies show that you're not losing fat, you're losing muscle. You don't want to lose muscle because then you're not going to have an overall healthy body composition so that you can ward off disease. You want to be getting rid of your fat stores because that's where the toxicity of our life goes. If our channels of elimination are not open, you're not going to the bathroom 2 to 3 times a day, every day, if you're not sweating properly, if you're not breathing deep properly, and then you've got urinary issues, you're not getting rid of the metabolites of the toxicity that we encounter on a day-to-day basis. What does that mean? We've got fragrances in our cleaning products. We've got fragrances in the things that we plug into the wall so that things smell pretty. We've got fragrances in our detergent. We've got fragrances in our clothes. We've got different things. If you're not wearing 100% linen or 100% silk or 100% wool, then you're wearing something that's manufactured from synthetic fibers. And so it is affecting you. It's going through your skin. And so you've got all that toxicity that's in there. If you're driving in Houston traffic or wherever you live, if you're driving in that traffic and you get in the traffic jam and you're inhaling the exhaust from the other cars, that's more environmental toxins. If you smoke, if you drink sodas, if you drink too much coffee, if you eat processed foods, those are all environmental toxins that we're taking into our body. And so when we're not eliminating them, the body, as a health process, pushes that toxicity into our fat cells, so our fat cells get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's why we're heavy. This is why if you are overweight, then you've got a significant number, I can't remember exactly what the percentage, but you've got a significant number to be obese. If you are obese, you are twice as likely to get type 2 diabetes, and if you have type 2 diabetes, you're 4 times more likely to have cancer. So the fat isn't the big deal, it's what's inside the fat. And so if we're taking these drugs for weight loss and we're losing muscle mass, but we're not dealing with the fat that we're wearing, we're not winning the battle, and we are losing our muscle mass. And if we lose our muscle mass, then we have trouble, right? So we do weight loss clinic here. We do a lot of things, but we do it in a healthy way so that you're not losing your muscle mass. In addition to maintaining your muscle, protein also helps reduce your appetite and supports weight loss. High protein diets, 1 to 2 grams to 1.9 grams of protein per kilogram body weight per day, or 20 to 25% of the daily calories, are effective at reducing the appetite and preventing weight gain. Okay, this is important. A 100 kilogram, roughly 220 pound man would need about a 120 to 190 grams of protein per day. For reference, a single chicken breast contains about 50 grams of protein. Protein increases hormones that promote, I can't read today, promote the feeling of fullness, while lowering ghrelin, which is a hormone that triggers hunger. This leads to a greater feeling of fullness and reduced food intake. Additionally, protein has a higher thermic effect, meaning that it requires more energy to digest and process as compared with carbohydrates and fats. This is a key advantage for weight control. Now, if you're going to have a choice between carbohydrates and fats, I'm going to pick fats. Why is that? Because fats take longer to process. Your brain runs on fats. You need fat. Okay, there's a lot of misinformation out there that fat makes you fat, and that's just not true. Carbohydrates, especially carbohydrates that turn to sugar. So that's pasta, bread, cereal, any kind of processed cakes, pies, all that kind of stuff turns to sugar in your body. And so sugar is a very fast fuel. You use it very quickly. And so you can eat a big meal of those kind of carbohydrates, but be hungry in an hour because you burn through all of that fuel. So the statistics show that a higher percentage of protein in your diet makes you less hungry and more able to keep your weight off. So this is really important information, because I see all these people going for all these shots and these fad things. They're not going to win, and you're actually hurting yourself. So I read I think it was last week, that with these shots for weight loss, they're now finding that one of the unintended side effects is blindness. So we already knew that it caused gallbladder dysfunction. We already knew that it presupposed you to thyroid cancer. We already knew that, but now we're finding that it also affects your vision. So just be very, very careful when you're choosing that kind of drug to help you lose weight. So the general guideline for protein intake is 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of ideal body weight. So if you're heavy, so I'm going to just be way out there. If you're 300 pounds, you don't want to have 300 pounds or 300 grams of protein. You want to get your body weight down to a normal, a normal weight. And so what they're saying is the ideal weight. So what is your ideal weight? Roughly, you should be consuming 1.6 grams to 2.2 grams per kilogram, which is actually 1 pound of body weight to 1 gram of protein. This amount is sufficient for most people, but individual needs may vary depending on age, activity, health status, and specific goals, according to the Dr. Lyon. Now, I will tell you, if you're very, very athletic, if you run marathons, if you play soccer, beach volleyball, whatever it is, if you're very, very athletic, you're going to need more protein because you burn through it, okay? So make sure that you're getting adequate for your lifestyle. Pregnant women, those recovering from illness, and people managing chronic conditions also have increased protein needs. This underscores the importance of personalized dietetic strategies rather than blanket recommendations. So we do have a lady that we work with who is a registered dietitian. If you need that kind of help, then, we've got resources for you. Personally, I know how much I weigh, and my goal is going to be increase my protein to encompass what my body needs because I want to have strong muscles. I want to have a lot of resistance for chronic disease, and I want to make sure that while I'm watching my weight and making sure that my weight stays where it needs to stay, I'm not going to be skimping on the protein because then I'm going to get into a protein deficit situation, and that's going to not be good. Long-term protein consumption of 2 grams per kilogram of body weight per day is safe for healthy adults. Now, remember, Europe does kilograms. Here in the United States, we still do pounds. 1 pound is equal to 2.2 kilograms, all right? So they're saying 2 grams per kilogram. We're saying 1 pound per 1 gram of protein. So it works out the same, so don't kind of get confused on your metric conversions, all right? So for highly active people, the tolerant upper level increases to 3.5 grams per kilogram per day. So that's almost double. And this is according to Stacy Sims, who is an exercise physiologist and a nutritional scientist with a doctorate in environmental exercise physiology and sports nutrition. I had no idea that was even a thing, right? But she's the one that works with high-performance athletes, and she's saying if you're a high-performance athlete, you can go up to 3.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So that's almost 2 grams of protein per pound, right? Which is double what us lesser mortals need. Okay, I'm certainly not a high endurance athlete. As people age, particularly when women reach menopause and men approach their 60s, their bodies become less responsive to the effects of both exercise and protein intake on building their muscles, less responsive. To counteract this resistance, people in these age groups should aim for protein intake at the upper end of the recommended range, according to Dr. Sims. So this is important. Now, there are some myths concerning protein, and I've kind of been hearing you say, but I've heard this, and but I've heard that. And yeah, we're going to, deal with that. One common concern about high protein diets is that they will harm the kidneys. This is a myth that has been debunked. Studies on high-protein diets in obese adults and data from the Nurses' Health Study have found no decline in renal function for people that do a high-protein diet. Although some have hypothesized that a high-protein diet increases fracture risk because of a higher acidic load, a meta-analysis of 74 randomized controlled trials found no significant difference in the daily in bone density between the high protein diet, 16% to 45% of the daily energy from protein, and low protein diets, 5 to 23%. Okay, so there's that statistic there. All of us older women are concerned about osteoporosis, and you may have been told you are at risk. So protein, high protein makes you acidic, and so you need to be careful of that. Well, high protein is acidic. Protein is acidic, so you need to counteract that with good greens. Okay, your green beans, your peas, your cauliflower, your broccoli, your Brussels sprouts, your asparagus, all of the good carbs, right? Because those are alkaline and they will bring your body down into balance. So you want to be balanced. You don't want to be acidic. And this is why we tell people that if you're just doing the Atkins diet, that it is very acidic and it's very hard on the body if you do it long term. Dr. Tony Jimenez, I don't know if you guys know him, but I know him, and he is the founding member of Hope for Cancer Institute. And he says that we are supposed to rotate our diets on a 90-day basis. So if you do paleo diet, you don't want to do it 24/7. You want to do it 90 days and then switch to whole foods and then switch to keto and then switch to vegan and then, however it goes for you. I'm never going to do a vegan diet because I don't feel good on a vegan diet. My particular blood type, my particular makeup, I need the protein in order to feel well. When we have, as a church, and most of your churches do this, and you may even do this yourself, the first 21 days of January, most churches go on a 21-day vegetarian fast according to the book of Daniel, and I have no problem with that. But for me, it's not a good diet. I feel ratty. I feel angry. I feel tired and lethargic. It's just not a good diet for me. And so why are we doing fasting? So we can kind of connect better with Jesus. If I'm ratty, I'm not going to be connecting with Jesus, so it's just not great for me. Now, I will tell you what I did one year, and it was really good, and I enjoyed it very much, as I did bone broth protein. Didn't have anything to eat ever. Didn't eat anything that I would have to chew for the 21 days, but I did do bone broth protein with almond milk all through those 21 days. So I had really good results. I wasn't ratty because I had the protein, right? But I also lost about 23 pounds, and I had to go get my contacts changed because my vision improved. And so, that's not medical advice. Of course, I can't give you medical advice because I'm not a medical doctor. I am a holistic practitioner. However, that kind of validates this report that the more protein you have, the better your weight management is going to be, and the higher health outcomes are going to be. Low protein intake is linked to osteoporosis in older adults. Research, including the Framingham Osteoporosis Study, suggests that higher protein intake may prevent bone loss in this group of people. Another misconception is that plant-based proteins are nutritionally equivalent to animal-based proteins. While plant-based proteins can be a part of a healthy diet, they often lack one or more essential amino acids and require higher quantities to match the effectiveness of animal protein in building muscle. This is according to Dr. Lyon. Now, over the years, I've spoken on this multiple times about why I don't like a vegan diet. You don't get all of the nutrition that you need. And I have had people come and say, but I lost so much weight and I feel so good and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm okay with that. That is your experience. But long-term vegetarian diet is not healthy. And so you need to rotate your diet every 90 days. So Dr. Lyon shared the following meal plan as an example of a good, healthy, balanced diet. And this would be for someone who weighed 120 to 150 pounds. All right, this is an ideal weight. Breakfast, 2 large eggs cooked with 3 ounces of lean ground turkey. That's 33 grams of protein. Lunch was 5 ounces of a grilled chicken breast, 1 cup of steamed broccoli, and 1.5 cups of quinoa. All of that together was 40 grams of protein. A snack was a cup of Greek yogurt with 1 tablespoon of chia seeds and some berries. That was 22 grams of protein. Dinner was a 6-ounce baked salmon with 1 cup of sauteed spinach, 1 medium baked sweet potato. All of that was 40 grams. If you add all of that up, that's 135 grams of protein. Now, when I read that, I was thinking I would starve on that, right? I just need more food than that. But it does give you 135 grams of protein. So if you are an ideal weight, and I know not all of us are an ideal weight, but that's our goal to get there. And maybe if we upped our protein, we would be able to do that. Now, this is the protein powder that I like. It's called TRMe Go. And the reason I like it is that it has nothing bad in it, and the macros are optimized so there's no waste. So in a lot of your protein powders, you're getting just a whole lot of a certain nutrient and not so much of another nutrient, and this one is absolutely balanced, so it is a performance-based protein. And I have this several times a week. I put it with almond milk and have that for my lunch quite a bit of the time. And I like it. It has 20 grams of whey protein. It has 5.5 grams of your branched chain amino acids, and it has 11.7 grams of essential amino acids. So it's got everything you need in one 8-ounce portion. And like I said, when I was on that fast, I did this multiple times a day, so I got my protein that I needed, but I was adhering to the fast. Now, this is a Pharmanex product. You know that we do Pharmanex here in the clinic. That is a Pharmanex product, and it's part of a trio. This is the recovery for after your workout, and this is your pre-workout. Okay, so it's all TRMe Go. It's all very synergistic with each other. I don't do this all the time when I'm working out, when I'm working with a trainer, when I'm doing the kind of things that I'm doing to enhance muscles and that kind of thing. The recovery is very good for that with your muscles. But the thing about the protein powders, a lot of them have soy. Soy is almost 100% genetically modified here in the United States. So if you do a soy protein powder, you want to make sure that it has the non-GMO label on there, because we do not want you getting the GMOs in your system. So this one that I like is made out of whey, and so it is a clean whey. It's a clean product. There are no weight issues with that. There's no added hormones. There's no added antibiotics. And so it's something that's just really, really good, and it tastes delicious. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to taste anything that doesn't taste delicious. The protein powder only comes in chocolate. The recovery only comes in vanilla. And the pre-workout is a berry flavor. So all of the flavors are good. They're all compatible. So if you do a lot of, you're working on your muscles, all of this would be good. So the main takeaway that we want to go today is you've got to have adequate protein intake to maintain your muscle mass, to enhance your muscle mass. 1 pound to 1 gram of protein. I said that backwards. 1 gram of protein to 1 pound of body weight. If you're a high performance athlete, you want to double that. Okay. So do what you need to do. As older people, we sometimes have trouble metabolizing protein. If that's you, it's probably because you have low stomach acid, which is a process of aging. So if that's you, you want to get some betaine HCl, which you can get at any health food store. And what that is a supplement that simulates your hydrochloric acid in your stomach, and so it makes digesting protein all that much easier. So if you're one of the people that I hear from all the time and you say, I can't do protein because I feel full, I feel blah, I feel all these kind of things, that's because you have low stomach acid, and there's a word for that. It's a big long word, and I can't just pull it out. Hypochlorhydria, that's what it is. Hypochlorhydria, and that's something that all of us get to at some point because we're just older. So I think it's kind of interesting to correlate. Older people don't eat protein. Older people have lower stomach acid. If we increase the stomach acid, we may increase the protein intake. So that's free. You didn't pay for that. That's just something else that you need to know as we get older. It's a lot of information. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for liking. Thank you for all the things. And I will see you back next Friday for some more, I don't know if you call this tips, information, reports. Hopefully you find it beneficial. Thank you so much for joining us.